Okay, so since I'm adamantly against the new Ghostbusters movie coming out, I really think I should share an idea that I've had for a while. Because Ghostbusters, the original, is one of my favorite movies of all time. Probably my number one. And so, of course, I'm all for making Ghostbusters fan films. I feel the need to make a new movie died with Harold Ramis, and that the new movie just feels nothing. The new movie, through the trailers, feels nothing like Ghostbusters at all. It just seems like a cheap cash grab. The style of comedy isn't even like remotely close. It just seems like your typical dime a dozen comedy with the Ghostbusters name slapped onto it. I have nothing against the cast either. I think all of them can do a really good job. I think they're a great cast to play Ghostbusters. I don't care that they're female. Like anybody can be a Ghostbuster. Extreme Ghostbusters, Kylie Griffin, fucking awesome. But I just feel like it's not going to live up to what I really wanted it to be. So I'm going to share with you guys the type of Ghostbusters movies I would make. Because I've always liked Ghostbusters fan films. I've always felt like people put love and care into them. And ever since I saw the Denver Ghostbusters movies, Freddy vs. Ghostbusters and Return of the Ghostbusters, I'm like, this is awesome. You can create like this whole universe, really. And I'm a big fan of crossovers. So the first Ghostbusters story in my trilogy of Ghostbusters fan films would be called Ghostbusters Haunting Hour. Another working title was Ghostbusters Mass Hysteria. You choose which one you like better in the comments below.
Human sacrifice, dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria. Enough, I get the point.
This first fan film would be a crossover of two of my favorite movies of all time. Ghostbusters, of course, and The Evil Dead. So let's just get this started, shall we? I'm going to be looking over all the storyboards and notes that I took, while also showing the story in a visual manner. So it'll kind of be like half movie, half pitch, half like script reading, because I originally wrote this out as sort of like a comic book. So I'll try to show the visuals the best that I can with the really low budget that I have. So it'll probably just be a slideshow with a couple of movie clips here and there. Let's begin.
Legend has it that it was written by the Dark Ones, Necronomicon Ex Mortis. Roughly translated, Book of the Dead. The book served as a passageway to the evil worlds beyond. It was written long ago, when the seas ran red with blood. It was this blood that was used to ink the book. In the year 1300 AD, the book disappeared.
Also, during the opening, we'll see stock footage of the Evil Dead trilogy, Evil Dead 2, and Army of Darkness, and it'll talk more about the Necronomicon and all the god-awful things that happened in this cabin once Evil was released. We'll also talk about Ash versus Evil Dead, maybe the comic books, but the narration will tell us that the story of the Necronomicon sort of ended in Washington, D.C. after the events of Freddy vs. Jason vs. Ash the Nightmare Warriors, which is an amazing comic. By the beginning of this fan film, the Necronomicon has found its way back to the Voorhees house, where it was in not only Freddy vs. Jason vs. Ash, but also Friday the 13th, Jason Goes to Hell. We then see a shady man in a fedora and trench coat walking out of the Voorhees house with the Necronomicon in hand. The sky is dark and gray, and it's raining. This is a character that I would like to call James Mesmet. James is sort of like the Indiana Jones of paranormal investigators. He's a renegade. He has a snarkiness to him. He also has a brother named Robert, who he also investigates paranormal events or anything out of the norm. They appear in a lot of the stories I write in this sort of universe that I've created. So I feel like he perfectly belongs in this story. And much like Indiana Jones, there's a very Last Crusade moment coming up. James wants the book to be studied thoroughly in a museum somewhere. Not something you'd really put on display, something like more in the back. Either a museum or a government facility or any place where the book cannot be seen, but it could still be studied and, like, protected. He saw what happened in Washington, D.C. during the events of Freddy vs. Jason vs. Ash, and he does not want that happening again. But that all changes when he's all of a sudden knocked out. Two henchmen grab him by the arms, and then we see a shadow walking towards them. "Mr. Mesmet," the shadow says, and then it's revealed that this man is our main antagonist, and that he goes by the name of Gilligan H. Bloomis. James automatically knows who he is, and anger comes over his face. "We just wanted to thank you for getting the Necronomicon for us," Bloomis says as he picks it up from off the ground. Mesmet then looks at the two henchmen and says, "Too bad these Guidos don't know you like I do, Bloomis," trying to catch his breath after the big punch he took. Bloomis then assures him that these men will be paid handsomely for the job they just did. "Or so they think," Mesmet says with sarcasm in his voice. "Bloomis, this book needs to be investigated."
That belongs in a museum. So do you.
All jokes aside, that's essentially what is said before Bloomis knocks him out again. And then he gets a brilliant idea. "A museum, huh? Not only can he translate it and gain the powers of darkness, he can also sell it to the museum and get filthy fucking rich off of it. So, yeah, he's gonna take it to the Museum of Natural History." He pretty much thanks Mesmet for the idea before walking back to the car. Driving back, the henchmen are excited. "We're gonna get so rich," one of them says, to which Bloomis responds, "Yes, I am." The second henchman gets confused and angry and asks what does he mean by I? And then Bloomis whips out a gun and shoots them both. Before the other henchman can even respond, just bam, bam! And then he dumps the bodies off to the side of the road.